Alright, so here I'm throwing down another video on Ash and Shadows mod. And you see here, it's just getting started. I'm loading up units again. This is a replay of against the same deck, 3 SOG. I'm using the same deck. It's a Chinese mixed force. I have another Chinese mixed force as an ally, and then I have a Chinese support deck with me to throw in a little more balance to the game. It does a better job. I thought about like how I played the last game, and you can see from the last video that this is a little different. The AI on the opposing side is on hard, as opposed to very hard, which probably counts more in our favor. So it's all, the AI on both my side, both the AIs on my side are hard, and the opposing is hard. So it's a little more balanced in terms of income. The previous game, we just got dominated because it had so many more points to work with. So here we go. Basically, I'm gonna play the same way. I'm gonna go to Delta with a light aerial force, which is down here, and then I've got some artillery in, and I've got these guys over here, which are gonna go over here to Charlie, and then I have a force that's going to occupy Golf to defend it. This AI over here is moving with a superior, like not superior, but massive force. It's going to go into Bravo. It's going to try to get into India. It's going to branch out into Lima and Echo. And what you're going to see is, as opposed to the last game, the AI is going to come through. It's going to do basically the same thing it did before, but we're going to put in a series of checks and balances which are going to offset the game in our favor, and I'm going to play it a little differently, which adds to that and makes it so that we actually win the game. However, it does take twice as long to defeat the enemy, because for about 20 minutes during the game, both of us are at 0, and we're both fighting for, both sides are fighting for ground. And then what you're also going to see me do is I'm going to bring in some rocket artillery, which is going to take out a CV right here. I'm going to knock out a CV here. So here come Raptor Jesuses, the air cover, and then the weasels are going to come through and start knocking out some of our AA, which has radar effective sighting. And then we got the AI here, which loses a plane, but then it brings in a Q5D and knocks out the AA there. One of the planes gets away. They're getting their CV into place. These tanks are moving relatively fast. Same 6 set with an AA slam ram coming through. Infantry in the 4, Comanche aircraft, helicopter coming in to scope some of our units. Now I'm getting my forces in here, moderately dispersed. I got a helicopter here as a reserve. It does get taken out sitting there because I didn't get a chance to bring it into play fast enough. And once again, the AI is on the other side is just bringing the aircraft through and taking stuff out. We got a J11 coming through to take out that Weasel, and they've got Raptor Jesus coming in. It's going to take out this J11. As you can see, it brings in all 3 Raptor Jesuses, which are just going to take aircraft out. I got a SU-27 that I bring through, takes out one of the Raptor Jesuses, and then I'm trying to get out. But these Raptor Jesuses come back behind and take it out, and it goes crashing out over here. And they get out. They're moderately damaged for their efforts. We got the same 6 tanks coming through. They've already lost one. They got infantry coming up. You see they got slam ram just across the field to protect their assets. And there's a bit of a tank fight right here. I'm losing some units right here. But I pretty much got my forces set up over here. And this is Tankashasu over here, Hongjiang and Xiaolong. And I'm trying to get my guys positioned up before too many other forces come through. They got wild weasels coming through. Nice force of infantry right here. Hopefully they'll disperse and branch out and start going after some of these units. The game starts off kind of slow because everybody's, we've taken some hits, they've taken some hits. So it's time to start setting up some more points. These guys are taking hits from tanks. They're trying to kill all this infantry right here. Got more infantry coming in with a CB. And that push gets stopped. Another Comanche coming through. They got Mad AA. These guys are over here trying to take out this AA. And the Slamran gets away. Computer's got a Sanchi going to this forest. I got a cake coming up the middle. See if I can take out some aircrafts. I got some AA right here. 2 Raptor Jesus coming through. HQ 61 Alphas. Firing in on some of these weasels. They lose one. We lose one. They lose another one. They got a damaged weasel here. And then I got a major force of one of the computer's forces right here. Just gonna eventually push up through Bravo. I've got a SU-27 SK coming through for that weasel. But Raptor Jesus is coming through and I lose another SQ. Because Raptor Jesus is just badass. There's just no way to get around that. But we're pretty solid right here as opposed to the last game. And this QW1 is getting fired on by this IFE. I'm going to pass it through, turn off its weapons, and move it there. Keep its missiles turned on so it's not noticed. I got a cake with a a Zaddy coming through. Just gonna take out that IFV. And this Zaddy's gonna sit here and provide air cover along with this A. And we got a HQ over here. Oh, my allies got a HQ right there in the woods. Same situation as before. I got that helicopter sitting there as a reserve. But we're doing better in this game. Probably because everything is kind of more balanced. Definitely more balanced. This lightning comes through. It's going to drop its bombs, but we got more lightnings coming. Once again, these guys are coming out to take out this CD. Take out the CD because this M2A3 is spotting. Lots of A-10s coming through. Raptor Jesus is on this side. Coming from my helicopters. They take out my cake, but miss the, or they take out my Zaddy, but miss my cake. And this ally right here is just bringing stuff forward. Pretty much holding it down in Bravo. Lightning, another A-10. Let's see if we can take it out. Just drop some bombs. Going down here to this unit. See if we're taking it out. I've got a Z coming through. Set up and prevent more tanks from coming down this narrow avenue. Got an HQ going this way, but I'm actually going to try to pull it back over here where this other HQ was from the computer. And then I got my situation here. Now I never do get a chance to like bring a CV through here. I do try, but I'm more focused in on trying to take out these aircraft and supporting my guys over on this side. At this point, I'm down low on points, so it's hard. So I'm just bringing in whatever I can to like maintain my line. Over here, the AI has got some Xanshi moving forward to this town right here to get set up. The AI is actually pretty good at setting up ambushes. Put a sword with a Raptor Jesus right there. Takes out my cake. Because it gets spotted. This Tankazanshu, due to the fact that it has the ability to also attack infantry, is taking out this rifleman right here. This rifleman group. And at this point, I try to bring up resupply for these guys because they are running out low on ammunition. And the AI keeps up a steady rate of like aircraft coming through. They're just doing sorties everywhere, dropping bombs, strafing. These A-10Cs are just incredible at like taking stuff out. Infantry battle going through right there. And they get bombed by the F-35B Lightnings. Over here, there's some more action going down. And we're a little better off than we were before. Hopefully this force can get into India and take some control. Get rid of this Slamro if they can find it. Take out some of this infantry. These tanks aren't bad. AP-16, so they should be able to deal with these APCs and the infantry. However, we got a 35 that comes through. Does drop bombs, but it misses entirely. And then we got another sortie set coming through to do some damage to these tanks so they get spotted. So we'll see how that does. A-10s are just causing mayhem and destruction. Damaged, gets taken out. This AA that was here gets destroyed. This tanky Chassel is targeting this rifleman infantry right here. Gets stunned. Then this CSL 56 comes through and takes it out. Attack. Almost 15 minutes into the game. Lightnings are just doing the business. A-10s are doing business. Raptor Jesus is coming through to like cover everything. I'm being a little more careful with my SU-27 SKs because last game I got them wiped out pretty good. We're still +2. They have 3 points, we have 324, so we've got the win again. We have the setup. Now the AI, support AI is launching a bunch of rocket napalm on units that are over here. Causing some mayhem and destruction. Definitely causing a diversion. But we got planes coming through again. I mean, they're just constant planes. Taking stuff out. So we're taking some of them out. I got an SU-27K coming out. Trying to get it out before the Raptor Jesuses can get on me. And I think I lose this one too. Yep, it gets taken out. Raptor Jesuses are just awesome. They're just awesome planes. But it seems like we definitely get like, you know, a couple more of them out of the way because I don't see them towards the end of the game, and it might be because they're trying to hold them back in reserve or whatnot. Another 35 Lightning here. Fabe out coming in on the Lightning. Also taking out some AA that's over here. I get it out, luckily, because the Raptor Jesus have already come through and they're refueling. They're rearming, so that gets away. Now they're bringing out the helicopters as they did before. You know, at this point, it's kind of like a chess game where it's a bunch of checks and balances. We're still holding on to ground. We've got the +1. A couple more Lightnings coming out. They're still bringing troops forward along with IFVs. Not so many tanks, but we got tanks over here that are coming through. And those actually end up getting in this area and tearing stuff up. And I almost lose footing. Well, actually, I do lose footing on Echo a couple of times. My force here gets wiped out because I'm not able to like keep up. This stuff comes through and like just kind of wipes it out. And then there's a lot of bombing action that happens. I believe I do lose Delta after a bit, and I have to bring a couple of CVs in. I try to bring a CV over here to hotel at a certain point, and it gets taken out as well because there's a helicopter hanging out right here, and it's just waiting, waiting to take the stuff out. So yeah, here we got 70% of the points. But once again, the AI on the opposing side is going to start bringing the hammer down and taking stuff out. Like, it's moving here through hotel and just pretty much clean stuff out. See down here, that Super Cobra is going to throw down. Got some more air sorties over here, taking stuff out. We lose Bravo. So now you can see that we're 0-0. And this is where the AI on the opposing side, one team with 3 times availability, starts countering everything from 3 different decks, my deck and my 2 allies, and just pretty much is like performing a holding action against my forces. Just tons of planes, constant. Which is how it should be. Like U.S. decks. Well, if you pay attention to like how the U.S. is fighting its wars these days, going back to Vietnam, we use lots of air assets to fight our armies, or fight our battles. We'll put troops on the ground. We'll put light force on the ground. If we get like forward observers on the ground, we can do a lot of damage just using air assets, and that's basically what the AI is doing, because this is how that deck is set up, is to be air dominant, as well as having artillery assets on the ground. In this deck, it's got the latest M109A6, which can shoot normal artillery, but it can also shoot the Excalibur round, which is devastating, particularly if tanks on my side are grouped. It can hit a bunch of those tanks and actually top kill. But the F-35 Bravo Lightnings are just, they're devastating in and of their own right. They'll just come through using their stealth with the Raptor Jesus as air cover, followed by A-10s, and just sweep and knock stuff out. So we're knocking out some of the Cobras that are coming through. 21 minutes into the game, 0-0. It's been that way for about almost 10 minutes. And this is exactly what the AI wants to do, is it wants to stop us from getting ground. Meanwhile, it's taking ground. So what I'm doing over here at a certain point is I bring in some of the M20 SBRMs, and I start trying to target areas I think the CV might be hiding here. So you'll eventually see that I get one here in this area in Juliet. So that's where their CV is. Actually, that's where the M125 is, or 1025 is there. Then over here, there's the M1025 there, but it ends up coming over this way, hiding out. I kill it later on. Tons of lightnings, just tons. I mean, they get 9 of them, being outnumbered 3-1, because the original deck has 3, so they're just going to come through and strafe bomb, because I'm facing off with tanks right here, trying to knock them out. I'm just getting crap bombed out of me. This tank hasn't taken a lot of damage. Well, it's taken some damage, but it can hold off against my forces because my forces are lighter. This ends up being a pretty serious fight where I have to like seriously like try to like fend off, trying to protect my artillery right here, trying to protect my flank, trying to protect my foreground. I'm bringing out another cake to knock out these tanks from a distance. And then what you'll see me do later on is I'll bring some tanks up here to like make sure that that doesn't happen again. Now the truth is this force gets defeated as well as this force, and we end up losing Alpha and Bravo entirely for a time. And I keep bringing CVs over and helicopters, trying to take back this ground, and I'm just doing what I can to survive. And if I don't do it, my ally who is the support deck isn't able to keep up because it's too busy trying to bring in tanks and infantry and maintain artillery and AA. My other force, my other ally is doing the same thing, is trying to maintain its forces throughout this area. And it's just M1A2 SEAPs, the SEPs, the Fetty Wops, they're just incredible machines. They could probably, you could probably like run down here with like 2 and then follow up with another 2 and then make sure you got AA interspersed with some infantry and you just dominate. Totally. Bring some helicopters to support them from the air. Make sure you got your air assets coming through, your planes coming through, and just dominate. This deck is 3 SOGs, actually a pretty incredible deck. I was actually lucky to beat them this time around. As you can see, like now the computer is +1, it's gaining points, and I'm doing the best. Well, the computer's doing the best it can to offset it from the air. Not seeing too many Raptor Jesuses. I think maybe we took out another one, and it's got 1 left, or maybe we got both of them, so it doesn't have any more serious air cover left. But the F-35. Those planes can come through and actually they can do air damage. Here we go, like right here, Q5D. So they were trying to target that Q5D, but then it evacs and they evac, and then we drop bombs on these tanks right here. The normal M1A2s got F-35s coming through this way with H1 Super Cobras. And I'm doing some artillery damage over here, trying to figure out where their CV is, seeing if I can offset that +2 that they got going on right now, because we're 0. And they're just bringing him in sortie pairs, and sorties of 3, trying to see what they can get. They get that quick refuel, because they haven't dropped any ordnance. We're still like battling for Bravo. My computer ally is, but it's withdrawing. Should we ban down here? Super Cobras are coming through, trying to see what they can kill. Pretty much got a hold on Hotel. Pretty much like a really tight chess game right now. And I'm bringing up some recon infantry and WZ 551s. I've got a line of AA plus vehicles here, plus WZ 550s right here. Trying to maintain that. I'm going to try to bring some AA along this line. We still got this tank to deal with, which is out of gas. We'll eventually kill that. Super Cobra coming this way. There's a Raptor Jesus, so we didn't get all of them. In fact, I think that might be the last Raptor Jesus. So you got M1A2s coming through this way, and they're like, this is the force that actually takes out a majority of my force right here. I'm bringing up another cake with Zaddy, see if I can counterman that, and also knock out some of these AH-1Ws. See what we can do. Got a Super Cobra down here, just taking out vehicles. And here come the Winchester, Actually, sorry, F-35Bs. They're doing work through on this area right here. Just dropping ordnance, knocking stuff out. A-10 Thunderbolts are coming through to do their damage, and you're gonna see them they're gonna tear some ass right here. Just tear ass. Got another cake over here to kill some tanks. Got two PGC-63s trying to shoot down some of those aircraft. It is ZBD hanging out, which was pretty ineffective against what's coming at them. Now this hemp set is trying to get down to this M1A2, but it doesn't realize that I've replaced my troops here. Computer's got some troops as well. We got some stuff over here as well. More tanks coming down this way. And right here, I'm doing the battle, taking out the tanks that are coming through this area. Like, this is where I'm pretty much focused right now. It's hard to stay on top of all of this, but I'm pretty much trying to cover all my bases. I don't have to do so much over here as yet, but this area does get taken out for a while. And meanwhile, we're just trying to maintain our lines. Because even at hard, 3 SOG is still doing damage to all three of our units, all three of our forces. So just to let you know, United States is the shit in Ash and Shadows mod. There's a bunch of tanks coming down this way. Yeah, it's pretty much non-stop tanks, and actually we do a pretty good job at taking this stuff out. They get our recon helicopter right here because these tanks spotted them. Raptor DD's is doing work, but it gets taken out, I think. No, it got away. So it's still in play. And we're just trying to do what we can to maintain our lines. Just maintaining lines, maintaining lines, maintaining lines. Doing what we can. So at this point, the AI is still keeping up with its air raids. It's got its helicopters coming through. This one looks like it is out of ammo. Yeah, it's out of missiles, AA missiles, and it's also out of anti-tank missiles. So it's going back for a refuel. And the one thing is with the new AI that the AI is actually pretty good at refueling and refitting its units. Okay. So one of the things that you can do when you're playing with the AI is, should you want to set a flare, like here it says aborting capture, that's the computer telling you it's not going to attack there anymore. You know, it'll set up different areas over here, defending this position, because it spots enemy units and it wants to defend. There's some theory in here that you're trying to fight against this M1A2. And here's where I start to lose Echo. My forces get rapidly depleted through here. And then eventually they come down and take out Delta. That SCP is still there, doing work. Pretty much killing whatever comes across. But we're taking out its himps. We're capturing him, actually, which is good for us. Free food, right? Keeps our tank going. They got a M1A2 that's out of gas over here. Here's where I'm going to use Delta. Jiao Long. Who's out on these guys. Got a rocket artillery that came in on that M1A2. Now, I think it's at this point where I'm starting to bring in... Let me see. Nope, not yet. I haven't brought it in yet, but I will. Start bringing in my rocket artillery because I'm noticing we're still at the team one still got +1. They're still gaining points. We're starting to they're starting to close the gap. Here's another rocket coming through with a big boom. Yeah. Doing damage. I don't know if we got a stun on that one, but here you see A10s like just coming through and knocking stuff out. This H1W Super Cobra is gonna wreck some stuff. Then we got some wreckage coming over here. Got some MIA trying to fire on that stuff. Actually, it's out of missiles. It's hard to maintain this stuff because like there's so much going on. It's hard to keep everybody resupplied. Then we got these M20 SRBMs right here. About to launch more rockets, probably at these tanks, which we can see. Meanwhile, they're getting refueled. And what am I bringing in? What am I going to bring in those rockets from my side? When I do bring it in, I bring in one over here, and I bring in one down here, and I refuel them with MI6s, 2 of them. Those supplies go quite a ways, and I use them to like, I'm just targeting different areas around here. I target over here, and then I eventually target over here and kill a CV right here. I'm looking for the CV over here, which I don't think I ever do find because it's not any of those. It's right here. I don't think I kill it. Or maybe I do kill this one, but it brings out another one and like rapidly repairs that one. Over here, I aim for this area, but I think I aim back here. I miss it entirely. I try for this area, but I'm actually aiming back here because that's where I would hide my CV. So I don't ever like think about it right here, but generally speaking, the AI is like forward thinking. It puts it in places where you're just not going to ever put your CV, and that's why you never guess where it is. Meanwhile, they're still bringing out their aircraft for bombing missions, for, you know, air interdiction and interception. So right here, a bunch of bombs coming down, taking stuff out. We're still launching missiles. Now, one thing with the AI is if it has a number of missiles to work with, especially if it's got like AP missiles, it'll use what it needs. It doesn't really need to use the whole 12 set like a lot of players do. You know, like, you know, a lot of people complain about players using the AA or the artillery spam. The AA will actually take one missile and just be spot on. As long as it can see the target, it'll just be on it. No problem. And if it's got AP missiles, it'll use like 1, 2, or 3, maybe 4, and take out what it needs to take out, and then move on to the next target. You know, and that's how I learned how to use AP missiles and actually already HE missiles off of MLRS is from the AI doing its random shoots and sorties, where it doesn't use the entire arsenal of its capacity. It doesn't use its entire capacity of missiles. It'll use a few, and then just move on to another target, and then move on to another target, and then refuel, rearm, refit, and then move on to another target. And it's just constant, constant, constant. It's wonderful how, like, you know, the AI does things, because it's more, in my opinion, it's more efficient. Like, you know, and I think that's probably why they dumbed down the AI so much, is because, you know, if they actually gave it some intelligence, it would be hard to beat. Which was my goal all along with redesigning the AI to be more effective and play like players do. Now here we have the computer with Q5Ds coming down on these tanks. And then they got rockets coming through. Doing the AP splash. Not terribly effective, but they are damaging these tanks. And at this point, the AI is retreating. It's, you know, like, we're out of here. Alpha has been taken over. Whereas this was actually a strong zone for us, it has just been depleted because of the tank rush. It doesn't have any more SCPs. The SCPs have been pretty much used. And that's how the AI will operate as well, to use its strongest assets first, which is actually pretty damn good. And then it'll fall back on slightly lesser assets, but what you want to do in that instance is just pretty much be ready to take out whatever it's got. And that's what we've been doing. It's still +1. It's at 288 to our 356. AI is aborting capture over here for various reasons, probably because his stuff got taken out. Right here, I'm still holding the line, but these are actually new forces that I brought through, and the computer's got a scout right here with a HEMT that we've captured. We managed to take out that tank that was down here. AI is at 294. So it's rapidly catching up to our score again. And so this is where now you see my SRBM has come in and has it fired? No, hasn't fired yet. But we did fire, oops, we did fire on this area, and you can see right about here, I took out a bunch of assets. Get closer to the ground. You can't see it because nothing's been spotted, but there are some dead things here and here and here, and it looks like right there. Managed to knock out that zone because their points went back up, so I hit. I just pretty much like targeting various areas. I actually target over here eventually as well. But I targeted here because that's where I would put a CV. Targeted here because that's where I put a CV, and usually I target it right about here. But usually the AI will just throw it like right here in your face, like blah, you know, right up in the front, where you will never guess where it is. And it's got more tanks coming up, just tanks, 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 infantry coming with it, Bradleys. And we got infantry coming up with a computer. They got HIMPs coming forward to refuel the tanks that are right here, which works to some degree because these guys are out of fuel. But what happens is, let's see, at some point I bring in a CV and a helicopter, and I plan it right about here where this cargo is. And then I bring in some assets, and they pretty much make short work of some of the stuff over here. These hemps and one of the tanks comes over this way and hangs out right about here, but we managed to take out some of this other stuff. So now having, knowing that we can actually hold the line, I'm more encouraged to play some of the Red 4 assets because here's my Fabao coming in looking for stuff to kill. Just a flood of aircraft from them. My Fabao gets out. But there's the huge crowd of aircraft right here, and just more of these weasels. Anytime it spots stuff that it can take out with a weasel, weasels come in. Anytime it spots hardened targets, it'll send in A-10s. F-35s are just taking whatever it can get. There you see it knocking out stuff. Just all over. We're bleeding units. AI is at 315, but we've managed to counterbalance their advance. Now over here we got Cobras coming in with DAPs and Super Hues with the AA. This Hemp's trying to get away. PTZ 90s, PTZ 89s coming through. Taking shots, they lose one. CSLs coming through. Our forces are always trying to take back ground that we've lost. It'd be nice if the AI could be more conservative with his CVs, but they get quite a few of them. All of my decks usually have a double stack of CVs, sometimes a triple stack. Because of the supply situation in the game, supply is minimal cost to a lot of different things. Also, that's one of my changes to the AI. Also, Spectre adds in a lot of additional units to the stacks of supply. So now we got additional units coming out because some of the forward units that we've been using throughout the game are depleted. Also, too, on the other side, they're bringing out different types of units. No more SCPs, so they got M1A2s, they got AOH1Ss, Super Hueys coming in with AA units. As you can see, the AI is pretty good about resupplying units, especially if they run out of fuel. Still maintaining his air sorties. It's just, yeah, never a dull moment when playing this AI because it's just so much more advanced than the vanilla AI. Now this one, this M1A2 is out of fuel, but it's not out of ammo. Because these units go by it, I believe they see it, and I also see it. And that's when I decide to Why doesn't I decide to do that? I need to start recording this while I'm actually playing. Because that way you know what I'm doing, what's going on. J11 going for that F-35, which I believe it takes out. A lot of their tanks are running out of fuel, need to be resupplied. Over here, these tanks have been resupplied and now are moving on to different areas. Let's see. Another recon helicopter coming out. And the AI will use recon helicopters before it uses a lot of times it'll use recon helicopters before it uses recon infantry or recon vehicles. Which is a damn shame. I wish I could fix the recon situation. I'm still looking for the golden mean there. Here a hemp gets down to this tank and starts refueling it. If I figure out how to get the AI to make better utilization of the recon, this game will be superior. It'll be like hard to beat because when the AI does use recon, it just fights so much more effectively. In fact, it fights better than players will ever fight. If you can see what you got, it's going to take out what you got, and it can micro on a level that humans can. Game on. Here's another blank zone. 0-0. 50 minutes, 25 seconds. So here we are. We're holding out for this game. I've got a Sweeban here that I've replaced. Because of the air assets, because of the tank assets on the ground, they've managed to see like what I've got going on there, and so they take it out. It's not like they know where it is, because that's not in the code anymore. They just pretty much do what we've been doing, and that is guesstimating where their CVs are. It's reasonable to think that the AI will do pretty much the same as you do. Here I've got another M20S RBM, and what I've done is I've gone over here and I've fired various rockets over in this area, this area, this area. You can see how there's that spot right there that's been blown away. Over here, I don't know how I missed that CV, but I've sent a rocket there. I've sent a rocket there. Let's see. I haven't sent anything over there yet. Right here, I sent a rocket thinking that the CV might have been there. So I'm just going around trying to figure out where it is they could be in order to offset their advantage of being able to micro a lot better than I can. So because this M1A2 got refueled, it's pretty much going where it saw my helicopter land, and it's going to take out my CV. But I'm going to try to countermand it with these two PC-89s. And over here is PC-63s taking out these Vipers. Right, so like, you know, pretty much whatever the AI can see, it will take out. It also has a longer memory than, say, a human does, and that it will remember where your stuff is. It doesn't cheat. It's not looking for stuff. It cannot see invisible units to its purview, but it will remember where your stuff is, and go after it at a later point. Especially if it thinks you gotta move. Now, say you land a CV, and that entire time it hasn't moved, but it actually saw where you landed your CV. Well, it will send an asset there to knock it out. Now, the only reason it hasn't sent aircraft to knock it out is because it doesn't know if it's actually still there. Once it gets eyes on, it will knock it out with a quickness. So what I'm doing is I'm doing asset recovery in terms of like bringing in stuff that I need to maintain my line, which I wasn't able to do in the previous game. Pretty touch and go at this point because they still have a bunch of tanks. They're coming down. They're still really fuel. They're getting resupplied. They got helicopters coming through. They got their LAD stingers coming out, so they're actually hitting some of my assets, some of my allies' assets. You can see here it's taking some damage and probably needs to get taken out. Well, probably needs evac. But it's definitely staying in the game. There we go with the evac Winchester. Evac ordered. This tank's been damaged. And then here we go. This M1A2 came back, looked for my asset, and took it out. Because it remembered it was there. Now I'm going to come up behind it with this PTZ-89. It's got great AP. And get an ass shot. So pretty much right now, we've pretty much cleaned out this area. I get a sight on this because of my helicopter. I see a bunch of helicopters hanging out right here, so at some point I'm going to take one of these M20 SRBMs and just target this general area, which is going to take out all those helicopters. And actually that the M20 takes out a lot of stuff. Gets like almost a full page of kills during the entire game. The other one not so much, it only gets like 2 or 3 items. But here we see the computer is back at +1. It's definitely getting up towards our points. And I'm starting to get worried, I'm starting to get more desperate, and I'm starting to look around for targets of opportunity. As you can see up there in the middle, there's a couple of Zhui bands that are perfect targets because their supporting assets have been knocked out. And I'm trying to figure out how I can support them. I'm really low on aircraft. I only have one SC-27SK air superiority fighter left. And I'm trying not to risk my units like I did in the previous game because I lost all of my ASF planes. And they still have what seems to be like an innumerable amount of planes to bring in. Tons of planes. They are taking some losses with their planes. In the previous game, I knocked out like 9 aircraft, which is about 1/3 of their force. And I'm pretty sure the AI got a bunch of their aircraft as well. We probably knocked out 2/3 of their air force in the last game, but we only took out one of their Raptor Jesuses. Okay, so here we see that the enemy has gotten 352 points to our 375, and at a certain point they pass us in points. got another CV over here, recovering Alpha. Still got my units in support here, and I'm not terribly worried about supporting them with more stuff. Two PTZ 89 and PTZ 63 right there is good for an ambush spot on that zone. And then for here, it's good ambush there and ambush there. Now here's my rocket artillery. Takes out a bunch of assets that were right there. You can see a bunch of stuff just goes kablooey. All those helicopters gone. And you see now the computer was saying it was going to attack that position, but I got to it first. So here, computers just bringing stuff forward, trying to take over this zone, is pushing back their helicopters. There's not a whole lot of Super Cobras left to fight against my Zaddies, or their Zaddies rather. And they've got AA on the ground, they've got Jiaolong, they got ZSL 56s, and this Zaddie's out of armor, or actually not armor, but armament, ammunition, so it's falling back to get refueled. Then over here, got these air assets coming through, dropping some bombs on those hemps, which never got moved. Wow, took that stuff out pretty damn quick. However, it was their assets to begin with, so even though we never got to use it, it was against them anyway. So here we see 2A3 Bradleys coming through, FSVs, because they're pretty much out of tanks. Pretty much worn down their tank force. Now we've got the point lead back. We're at +2. We're at 80%. So at this point, the game's in our favor. And I'm doing what I can to like maintain it from my standpoint. Computer's actually doing the same thing. It's back on the offensive, and it looks like we're coming back to life. But keep in mind, there's a huge force reserve right here for defense of that area. Over here, this has got defenses, lots of helicopters, Bradleys. Over here, I launched a rocket. Where did that damn? Oh yeah, it was over here. That M1020, that M1025 was destroyed in this area. I launched a missile, and this whole area got taken out with a 3,000 kilogram weapon. So that was part of what worked in our favor in bringing us back up to +2. At this point, being +2, I've given up on it. I'm going to try to move another asset back over here, a CV, to hang out in that area. AI is throwing rockets and artillery in this area. I think that's me too. Because I thought I saw a CV coming to Lima over here. So the AI dropped a bunch of napalm. They dropped a bunch of bombs. Rocketed. But I saw a CV coming down this road, so it actually got past the napalm. And then when I dropped my rocket missile right there, it took it out. One of my M20s gets 3 CVs in this game. Gets that one. Gets the one that was in Mike in this area, which got destroyed. And also gets this one that was over here, and and it seems to be using only those M10, M1025 Humvee CPs, not using so much of the Black Hawk infantry CVs that it has. Don't see any of those in the game. But it gets 21 of those M1025s, being 3 to 1, or 1 against 3. So we're +1 now because the AI on the opposing side managed to narrow down one of the assets here in Mike. At a certain point, it would eventually get India. It would also take Hotel and then start working its way across to Lima, Echo, Delta, Bravo. But because we're keeping up pressure on our side, it's not finding that terribly easy to do. However, I'm not seeing a lot of this fight right here for some reason. And I forget what I'm doing at this point. I think I'm actually trying to shore up the line here. So I'm not doing a whole lot. And then I've got this EV coming over here, which I don't recognize that this has got a bunch of rockets still. It's got 38 rockets and 14 SALR rockets. So it's just gonna, once I land, I sit here for a while because I don't remember that I'm actually over there, because I'm too busy just jumping around the entire map trying to plug holes. I'm plugging holes so that the AI can do its job and maintain force against the opposing force. Bunch of TOW 2s coming through, like a ton of TOW 2s coming through. Computers got fire. They're dropping bombs, doing what they can to hold off. Bombs dropped. Or napalm. That takes out a bunch of stuff. I got troops here. I'm starting to move some of my stuff forward. We're at 478 points right now. I should have a CV come in towards Delta. I got this force over here as well. Taking out a helicopter. Stuff going on over there. The ZBD Type 4 is pretty much going to knock this stuff out right here. So just leave it in one spot and just boom, boom with this 30mm. And these guys are coming through dropping bombs. Taking stuff out. There we go. There's a CV in Delta. And once I get that down on the ground, it's only a matter of seconds because we're at 491 and almost 500 points. We're 1 hour, 7 minutes, 55 seconds, 56, 57, 58, 59, 494 points, 108, 496, 498 plus 2. So just here in another 4 seconds, there's the game. As you can see, I get 9,000 points, less than half in deaths. This is the support deck, which gets a little better than half kills to its deaths. And then that same special operations group gets a little better kills, like almost 1-to-1 kills to its deaths. The AI gets, opposing AI gets 18,000 kills. We get 19,000, so we come in at a minor victory, like just narrow, like almost a draw. And here you can see like the all the different units on its side that actually did work and survived. And for that, I get 74 points to my. You get it. The AI opposing gets 74 points to its experience. Actually, I think I got somewhere closer to 94 points, something like that. I don't know. I don't remember actually exactly. I wish the actual video beforehand would have worked, but I had it in a different. I had the recording software in a different format, and it didn't work out. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoy this. Hope you get incentive to play Ash and Shadows mod because it's only going to improve from here. I'm only going to improve the AI from here and keep working with Spectre to see if we can get this game as perfect as can be and actually have this be something that people want to play by and large over the actual vanilla game, because I think this is worth this game is actually worth a game worth playing. Anyway, have a good night. Take care. Talk to you again soon. Bye.